Hi, this video is going to cover how to utilize staff management from your left side menu. Now, there are two ways to edit, add, or delete staff, as well as update credentials. Okay, one way would be within your renewal application. If you're within 90 days within submitting your renewal or your expiration date, you'll have a banner that goes across your screen here that will tell you how many days you have until your license expires, meaning this is how long you have until you submit your renewal. If you are within, I would say 60 days, and there aren't any exigent circumstances that require you to immediately put a new director in, then I would advise all changes in any area to be done within your renewal application. In other words, you're going to select your renewal up here in the right side corner, begin completing that, make all your staff changes within that application. This video is going to cover how to use staff management over here on the left, as I was saying. Okay, we would use this outside of your renewal application. For those circumstances that I just told you about, something that's critical, we need to hurry and get this person in. Just remember that if you start a staff management and let's say you're still 60 days out from your renewal being due, but you haven't started it yet, you haven't clicked on your renewal. If you start staff management over here on the left, you will not be able to start your renewal until this application has been reviewed by LDOE and approved, and then the renewal will become active again. That's why I said it's critical that you prioritize how you're entering, deleting, or editing staff outside of your renewal. If you add this director or director designee or staff inside of your renewal, then it won't be an issue at all. You can make as many changes as you want, add as many people, directors, position changes, whatever. Okay, it'll all be reviewed when you submit your renewal. But again, this is for those moments where you have to get somebody in right away and you have the time to wait for it to come back. We would also use this option if you've just renewed and your renewal is many, many months away, perhaps even, 10, 12 months away. Or you've got several months, let's say even 4 or 5 months. Okay, we would want to use this. Okay, anytime you are outside of your renewal 90-day window, we'll be using this staff management. So if you will make sure that you're logged in to your dashboard where it says welcome back in your name, I'll walk you through this. Okay, we'll do a couple staff members and show you how their credentials are uploaded and so forth. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to click on staff management. Now let your staff populate. Some of you may not have very fast computers. It may take up to 10 seconds for your staff to pop up, so just be patient. All right, and notice up here it says changes to director and director designees will require review and approval by the LDOE licensing division. Okay, a notification will be sent once they process the request. So what this means is if you have other staff, in other words, not directors or designees to update credentials on, do all of those first. And you'll do your director and designee last. And the reason I say this is because you can update other staff, even lead teacher, anything besides director and director designee to your heart's content. Okay, and it won't go to LDOE for review. It doesn't need to at this point. That will be reviewed during your next renewal. Okay, you can do all of your staff, 50 staff. You can take care of those. However, once you do a director or director designee, its own application will be immediately and automatically sent off to LDOE for review, and you won't be able to manipulate any other staff until that application processes. Okay, so I advise that if you have staff to update credentials to, certifications, degrees, and so forth, even if it's an address or anything else, do all of your staff edits first, then go to your director or director designee. Okay, so I want to show you the other option here on the left side, the staff records, and we'll come back to this in a second. So we're going to click on staff records. Here on staff records, it tells you what this is. It's your staff members' documents, okay? And we want to make sure that they're always up to date. And this is how you would update their credentials throughout the year in between your renewals. This will list the employee here, the file name, the category, and the type, okay? Everything for your staff, all of your staff, even lead teachers, is always going to be under education training. Okay, for the most part, it will be. Your director and director designee will have a few things that they'll need to upload for experience. But for the most part, your category is going to be under education and training. If you ever get confused, then you can always just click on one of these and see what it offers you. Okay, so if we go to education training and go under type, okay, it lists these. All right, so we are going to go back to staff records. And we're going to see what expires within 90 days. All right, so if we click on that, it's going to tell us whose certifications are about to expire. These will expire in October. It will also show us any expired. In this case, there aren't any expired. You can also look at the director and director designee files, because we definitely want to make sure those are always up to date and uploaded. Okay, and as you notice, the pre-service orientation, the key orientation modules, as well as the CCAP pre-service orientation, there aren't any expiration dates. Director qualification letter as well. And you'll see as you upload these documents, if you need to upload them again for some reason, that they don't require an expiration date. They typically ask for a completion date. Now, what I would recommend you do is, even though you see all of these that could be expired or about to expire, don't archive using this banker's box. Don't archive any files until you have uploaded the most current file. Once you've done that, then if you want, you can come back in here and do a little housekeeping and archive the older files. Now remember, you're not going to archive anything with an NA, because those are things that we need to always see present. But anything that expired or your new credentials might cover that are about to expire, you're more than welcome to go ahead and archive those, get them out of the way, okay? You can always pull those back up under the archived here and see a list. You can sort by, now right now there's nothing in the archives here, but you can sort by staff name as well. You can put Brown in, it'll show you everything in brown. You can also do that with every one of these too. Okay, you can put Nestor, first name or the last name, okay? Now, once you update this individual's file, so let's go back to staffing dashboard. This is where we were the first time. Okay, now notice these red triangles on the left side. That is perfectly normal. The staff member has not submitted the required mandatory documentation. It could also mean that there is a CCCBC no match, okay, which is the case here. All right, so if you run into that, I'm going to show you a few ways to fix that, okay? So we're not going to mess with the director right now, because remember, we are using staff management, which means this will create an application, and then I won't be able to do anything with these guys. Okay, so we're going to start with Penelope. Let's start at the bottom. Now, we're going to add new certifications. We'll see what's expired. If nothing else, we'll make an address change. Okay, but we are also going to make sure that she has a CCCBC that is correctly synced with the state. Okay, now we don't control the background. All we do is sync your statuses. So we're going to click on the pencil. Pencil throughout the application is edit. Now, what it's telling you here is that some of the things that you enter in for the certain roles may require LDOE review. Okay. So we're going to continue a staffing change. Make sure you read all the boxes though, so that you're familiar with what's going on. Okay, so this is that person's staffing page. All right, so let's scroll down just a little bit. Now we're going to change her from other staff. Now this is just internal. We're going to make her teacher. We're going to give her a little bit of bump in recognition. Okay, these are just terms that you can use to differentiate between your staff. It makes no difference in EdLink. Everyone is regular staff unless they're director or director designee. Okay, but it's nice for the label if they're receiving some type of different recognition or promotion. Okay, so we've changed her position. Now, by changing her to teacher from other staff, her requirements did not change at all. She still has the same requirements. Okay, the only ones who will have different requirements are your directors and designees. Okay, so we are going to move down a little bit. Do not check this. It doesn't matter. It's factored into your application, regardless from your director completing the site application. Okay, if you do, it's not going to hurt anything. If you don't, it won't hurt anything. All right, so we're going to put the date they were appointed to the current role. Now, if there needs to be a change to this, just go ahead and make that change. Okay. Sometimes we're not sure of the date, so we put in an arbitrary date and then we figure it out. And now we need to go back and just make it formal. Okay, so now we go down to name and contact. We have their first name and their last name. Try to avoid any middle names at this point and do not hyphenate a last name. Now, if for some reason doing that matches your CCCBC, you may or may not run into technical issues with that, but we can face that if we run into that. They're fairly easy to amend. Okay, but for new staff, go ahead and stick with the first name, last name, and then the phone number and their email. This should be their personal email address. Now I know that says center email. That is being changed, but it should be their personal email. And the reason we do this is because no matter where they go in the state of Louisiana, they will be able to access their virtual portfolio, which is what this becomes once all their credentials are input. Okay, so please use your personal email here. All right, so this employee is an emergency contact for this center. You need to have one on-site and one off-site at the minimum. Your directors are always going to be your on-sites, okay? And if somebody works at the center, they can't be an off-site. It needs to be somebody that doesn't work at the center that can take calls in the event of an emergency, okay? So we'll leave her as the emergency contact because you can have as many as you want. You just need to make sure you meet that minimum requirement. Okay, so this has to be her personal address. And let's make sure that we put the parish in. Don't miss putting the parish. Now, when you're looking for your state, Louisiana is always at the top throughout the entire application. It is not between Kentucky and Maine like you would expect. Okay, so it's right here at the top. Now, if your mailing's the same as your physical address, just hit copy to mailing. Notice how it popped over here. Okay. Now, your personal identification, this is critical. Now, your personal identification needs to be correct in your social, need a legitimate date of birth, your identification number, the issuing state, and then your sex and your race. So here I'm just going to upload any document here. Let me find a small one here. Now, every time you make changes to a staff member, you're going to have to upload a verification of identification, okay? Now we're going to do a refresh CCCBC. Now notice how we came up with a no match. That means there is technically no either it didn't pass or it wasn't submitted yet for whatever reason, okay? Now, you will not be able to submit an application if you have an employee that has a no match. So what you would do, this would be active for you still, okay? Make sure that the social security number has been verified and the date of birth has been verified. Make sure that the name has been verified. It needs to match what they put on their CCCBC, okay? Now, if all of that is good and you have determination letter from CCCBCS stating that the person's eligible, you would want to either upload that into entity management over here, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Upload it here and then let your licensing consultant know so that she can request that one of our developers clear that no match for that particular employee, okay? Because we can also verify that just to make sure. It doesn't happen too often, but it can happen because they are, you know, we have humans putting in the information at CCCBCS as well. All right, so for this individual, I'm going to do cancel and return, okay? And I'm going to hit yes. Delete the application because remember, everyone, it starts with an application as soon as you start to edit it. Okay, so we'll come back to that CCCBC and another employee in just a moment. Okay, so as a director, I canceled changing Penelope because someone just told me she quit. She no longer even works for us, okay? So I want to delete this staff member. So to do that, simply click on this archive because you're not really deleting, you're archiving. Make sure up here in the top that it's the person you meant to select because you don't want to delete somebody that's not gone, okay? Remove the emergency contact because just because somebody is not a staff member anymore doesn't mean that they are not still in, you know, good standing to be an emergency contact. Okay, and hit accepted. All right, see, because Penelope down here is an on-site. So we're going to remove that as well. We're going to remove her as an emergency contact. Now on yours, this is just a training site. That will be removed once we hit save because remember we took it off here too. Okay, so you can either check it there or you can hit the trash can here. Either way, we give you 2 chances. Now in this justification, you don't need to write a paragraph. You just need to put the change justification. And then the employment end date. This is very important, especially for any unemployment or legal reasons. Make sure that you put the specific date that they left. And of course, I found out she left on the 11th. So I'm going to save and submit. And now notice that she is no longer there. Okay, so that's how we would delete. Now let's take a look at Darren. Okay, let's go into the pencil for Darren. Because we want to see what he or she is missing. Okay, anything that we might be able to look at. Okay, we're going to leave everything the way that it is there. We are going to take him off as an emergency contact, just so you can see some changes. Now, it looks like his name. Now, I'm just guessing. But Wilms is a little unusual, so I'm going to go back and check that as a director. And it turns out it was supposed to be Williams. So I went ahead and corrected that. Okay, we're going to check his, or pick a parish here and do copy to mailing. And again, you'll be able to double check their social security number, make sure that it's correct. You'll want to upload that document, their verification document. Here are the examples of what you can upload. And then always hit that refresh CCCBC. Okay, and of course we still have the no match, and that's okay because we're going to move forward as if we had an eligible. Eligible is green. Anything green is going to be what you're aiming for. Now you can occasionally see a provisional, somebody from out of state whose background, maybe they brought or able to do or prove evidence of a background check from a previous employer. Okay, but most will say eligible. We're going to save and continue. Okay, and see, trying to save and continue, it's not going to let us because of the no match. Okay, so in this instance, I just wanted to give you two examples of what it looks like. So when we get to this point, then I will show you what it looks like uploading the document. So you have two examples there of these no match. Okay, and again, make sure that you verify everything. If you have an eligibility letter from CCCBCS, we're going to upload it, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, let's say he is eligible. Okay, we're going to let our licensing consultant know via email, and we're going to cancel changes here because we didn't really make any changes. Okay, we're going to go to entity management on the left side menu. We'll go down to entity documents. Okay, now these top documents are from the Department of Education. This is their section. You can't do anything with it except view, print, and search. Okay, but your section down here, these are the entity documents. You can go down here to the bottom where it says add new. Scroll down. Okay, your group type, it's going to be a staff document. Your entity documents are anything to do with the facility or services that you offer. This is your staff docs, okay? Now over here, it's going to list the different staff documents. Now, you can choose for these two individuals that we had. Of course, one we deleted because she quit. But for Damon or Darren, we're going to choose validate CCCBC status. And we're going to upload that eligibility letter so that our consultant can review that and make a determination and ask for a developer to remove that no match. And we're going to hit save. Okay, so now what we want to do, and let's see how they're sorting these now. Typically it's the very last one. Yes. Okay. So when you upload a document, it will be on the very last page at the bottom. Now you can sort these though. Okay, you can sort them by dates or document types. But the very last document that you upload will be on that last page at the bottom. Now email your licensing consultant. Let her know that this person has an eligibility letter, but it's showing a no match, and then you did upload this document into EdLink so that they could review it and change that status. Okay, so let's go back to the dashboard. I want to show you something here. Okay, so now that we have an application open, which is showing right here, we're not going to be able to do anything else except for complaints or incidents, okay? But making any changes to the entity is not possible right now until this is canceled, submitted, or approved. Okay, so this is going to stay open for us until we finish our staff, okay? Until you save the staff member. So far, we haven't been able to save a staff member because they didn't have their CCCBC match, okay? So what I want to show you how to do is how to put in a staff member. Okay, remember these guys were already in there. Okay, we're going to add one. So we're going to go to our staffing dashboard. I'm just right here and we're already there. Okay, and we're going to go to add new. Okay, new staff members will need to be approved as eligible through CCCBC system before submission. Also, staff will be required to submit documentation such as identification and training. Click continue if you're ready to proceed with your request. So yes. Okay, so this is how we enter a new staff member. We're adding new. We went to staff dashboard, staff management dashboard, and then scroll to the bottom and selected add new. We're adding a new staff member. Okay, so position. We're going to add lead teacher. And remember, I said all the credentials are the same for all your staff except for director and designee. Date appointed to this role, use your calendar picker over here. If it's easier, you have that option. And I'm going to put today's date for both. The date she was appointed to the role and the date she was hired. Okay. And we're going to pick, we'll do my name. Okay, Pamela Mertens. Primary phone number, we're just going to pick one. Email address, we'll pick one. Now, it must be a legitimate email address, or at least formatted legitimately. Okay, AdLink's not going to send a test email to see if that's legitimate, but it will let you know if you leave off the .com, .org, or such. Okay, I'm going to put myself as an emergency contact. Okay, and now for the address, I'm just going to pick whatever might already be in here. Louisiana's at the top. Okay, and now I'm going to copy to mailing. Okay, the date of birth. You must be under 100 and over 16. So I'm just going to put in an arbitrary date here. And the social, I'm going to use a dummy social so that you can see this process from start to finish. Okay, now when you click away, it will redact and only show your last four. Okay, your identification numbers, your driver's license number or passport or military ID in the issuing state. Okay, and now I'm going to submit my verification of identity. And always hit refresh CCCBC status. This is what it looks like when they have an eligible status. Now I'm going to continue. Okay, now it's letting us know. Okay, the owner staff you have entered has matched a SSN that has been previously involved with a revocation in the past 2 years. Please review the person's information to make sure it is correct. If it is correct, a licensing consultant will review and make a determination if this staff member will be approved. Now, this is an enhancement because we don't want somebody who has had licensing revoked or in some way disciplinary action against them to necessarily be able to be a staff member at another center without reviewing it first. Okay, so we're going to hit continue. All right, let's see here. Okay, so now we are at the document upload page. Okay, they will need their CPR. Okay, I'm just going to put a date out just a bit and upload. So what we do, let me show you how I did that. That's what it looks like when it's uploading. Everything is good. That yellow just means it's uploading. So we're going to put certified by, I just put ARC for American Red Cross. It may be somebody else. Okay, expiration date, I'm picking one in the future. Usually it's a year or 2 years. And I'm going to hit browse and select that document. Now, if you'll notice, I mean, I have a lot of documents on my computer, okay, especially within my network. And you may too. If you only have a couple employees, it might not be so difficult, but I do think it's still necessary to do this. Make sure that you're making a folder specifically for that employee for their credentials. Don't just save them willy-nilly all over the computer. Make sure that you name them consistently. So if it's CPR, do CPR P Mertens 2024. Okay, be very consistent with your labeling in case it does get missaved somewhere and you have to do a search. It also makes it easier if you're a licensing consultant to differentiate between your staff members, okay? So the key orientation modules, all right, so date completed. The reason it's saying date completed and not expiration date is because they don't expire. So we're just going to pick a pass date. And again, we're going to browse and grab that file. Mandated reporters, okay? Again, this one does have an expiration date, so I'm just going to put that out just a little bit, just for the sake of showing you how to do it, okay? Choose the file. You can also double click on the file and it'll pop it in there too. Now we have our clock hours, okay? And the date that they were completed. Now, if you have a lot of clock hours, you can upload multiple documents here, okay? Now, check with licensing if you have staff members who are new and are still working on those hours. Your licensing consultant will be able to tell you if there are any options for the staff member. I believe there are, but again, let licensing tell you what those are. Now, we've done all the mandatory uploads here. All right, we get down to what's called optional. Now, these are not optional in some cases, okay? For instance, you may be required to have your ancillary certificate within a certain amount of time. You may be one of the people at your center, one of two that are required to do a medication administration training, okay, and have that certification. The directors and director designees, they will need their experience uploaded, okay? That includes their director letter, as well as a resume or letter of recommendation from another licensed director, okay? Now, these are obviously optional here, okay? But if you have staff members or yourself that do have degrees and you want to upload them, remember this provides them with a virtual portfolio. So if they have anything that will help them with their employment or their advancement, then go ahead and upload it. You can do that by adding new. And it looks very similar to the last one that we did. You'll choose the category. Remember I said most will be in education training. And you're only going to see education training because this is a staff position. If you had selected director or director designee, you would see experience on here and you would be able to choose from that. Okay. So here we're just going to choose your certification for this person. Actually, let's do medication administration. Certified by expiration, and we're just going to put it out a bit. We're going to choose the file. All right, we're going to scroll down and make sure you hit that check mark. Okay, so we have met the requirements that this page is asking for. We have uploaded everything that it's required. Now, depending on the position that you assigned in the previous page, that will dictate which fields and documents are required to be uploaded, okay? Now, let's say you are, let's say the staff member already exists, but they have their CPRs expired or their pediatric first aids expired. Those two boxes will pop up here blank so that you can upload their new credentials. And remember, it won't replace the old ones because they're still there, but you can, once you hit save down here at the bottom, you can go to that staffing, staff records over here and archive those two documents for that particular employee since you know you just uploaded their new ones. All right, so we're going to save staff record. And it's going to take us back out here. So notice this person has no issues. They're eligible. They're ready to go. All right, so let's see if any of these will let me edit their social. I don't believe that they will. This is an older application. No, we can't edit it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to staff management. Let's go back there. We're going to cancel changes on that one that I just looked at. And remember, I'm still here. Let's say that this is a small center and I'm only taking care of 5 kids. I'm the owner and the director. All these people are gone. Okay. We're going to go to the dashboard. Notice how all my tools are faded. That means they're not active because there's an application. But if I go to my dashboard and go to edit, I can still do the things that I want to do. Okay. All right, so for this cancel and return, to show you that again. Okay, once you've done that, and you can also give it about 20 or 30 seconds, and these buttons will also be active for you, or you can just go into that edit and it wakes it up and reactivate your buttons too, okay? I'm going to get rid of these people. And I'm going to get rid of this one. And the justification. Okay, we're just going to do that, and we're going to date it today, because I'm going to show you how to process, how that looks when you're finished with it, okay? So we're also going to get rid of Glenda. Let's say so far everybody left. You're the only one that's still here. Now your director isn't here anymore, but I want you to leave that director there until yours is approved. So we're going to go into the pencil, because now we need to make you a director. Okay, up here instead of lead teacher, we're going to make you director. Now notice different questions pop up. Okay, you need to make sure you review your bulletin 137 through 139. Okay, to make sure that you have the experience that's required. Okay, so date hired into this role, we'll leave it today. Everything else is the same. Okay, still eligible, but you always want to hit refresh again, save and continue. Now notice that because I've changed her to director, it's asking for your years of experience again, and it wants the director letter. Now, if you're a first-time director, you're obviously not going to have a director qualification letter. So what you would what you would upload here is you have a few options. You can do the director qualification letter. You can do a resume, a current resume detailing your experience and work history. Or you can have a letter of recommendation detailing both of those signed by a licensed director. Okay, so you have options there if you're new, if you're a first-time director. Okay, and you have everything else. Okay, you have all the other documents that you're required. All right, so we don't need to upload any of those. If you did, it would tell you, it would have a box pop up with what you're required to have. Okay, so change justification. We'll do this promoted to director, replacing old director once this application has been approved. Okay, just a simple statement. Okay, we're going to accept position director and put today's date. Submit. Now notice the other said save staff record. Remember me telling you that you could keep going with regular staff. Okay, this one is going to submit straight to LDOE for review as soon as I hit this. Okay, so I am still going to be listed as teacher until that's approved. Now, once that gets approved, then we will delete this individual. Now, deleting a director is the same as trying to create a new director. Okay, it does need LDOE review because they want to see the justification, and they also want to see that another director is coming through the pipes. Okay, let's see, what else do you need here? Notice how your buttons are inactive here. Okay, and let's go to the dashboard and look at your application, the pending applications. Okay, so you have submitted, we took that staff management application that we were just working on with staff, and we decided to promote someone to director, and director gets automatically submitted. So You can view the application, you can't make any changes to it, and you can withdraw. Now, you would not want to withdraw until you've already spoken to your licensing consultant. It's a 3-step process, so there are no accidents. Okay, so please do not withdraw until you are told to do so. All right, but you can watch that it's pending here. In progress would mean that you're still working on it. Pending means that it's been submitted. You wouldn't see this if it had not already been submitted. You would see that yellow cancel and edit button. All right, so now your director is being reviewed, all those documents. And once she's approved, next to that name, Pamela Mertens, you will see the title of director. Then you can go in and remove the old director, okay? Always make sure your new one's in. Now, there are some precautionary things that you need to do. Let's say that the past director left on sour terms, okay? The first thing that you need to do when this happens is you need to let your consultant know that this director has walked out or was terminated, or for any reason, really. If the director is no longer on the premises and working there, then we need to remove her access, his or her access roles from EdLink Security. If we do not, this individual has access to all of this financial, staff, and entity management information, account settings, everything, you name it, they can make changes to it. And we have had a couple incidents where the individual did leave on bad terms. So it was a good thing that we were able to catch these, okay? So please, it is your responsibility as the incoming director or even a remaining staff member to please let the licensing consultant know that that director is no longer on site. Okay, so we're going to go back to the dashboard. Okay, we're going to go to staff management. And we're going to look at our list now. Now, this director here would have a no match anyway. And a lot of times, if a director is leaving the business or for whatever reason, their background did not clear, then they likely would keep that triangle there and are probably due to be deleted anyway. Now, some other things on your dashboard here that I want to go over since we are talking about all things staff. Okay, your entity management. This can be used in that instance where you need to put that CCCBC in there, okay? It can also be used if your licensing consultant needs something from you or needs to visually see it. That doesn't mean that they wouldn't still tell you you need to put it in your renewal, okay? Just because you upload it here in entity documents outside of your renewal, it will not be inside of your renewal later on. In other words, it doesn't automatically grab those new documents and insert them where they belong inside of your upcoming renewal. But it is a safekeeping location where all you need to do is come down here. You can click on the link or you can click on the eyeball and you'll be able to download it or print it or save an electronic copy to it. This does come in great handy for staff and for the facility documents. We had a center that about a year and a half ago had everything done except they just needed to pay and submit their renewal, or excuse me, their new site application. Well, before they could do that, their new facility, brand new facility with new equipment, was vandalized by a bunch of juveniles there. And not only was it vandalized, they also set it on fire to add insult to injury. So if they had not uploaded all of their documents already into the computer, they would have likely been scrambling trying to get hard copies of all these again, which were lost in the fire. So they were able to finish that application with the exception of 1 or 2 documents, submit it, and finally reopen, even though it took them about 6 months to do. Okay, but they still had everything. You're able to look at any of these. You can view Just do not make any edits, because once you click on anything that says update or edit, you're creating an application. Now, if you intend to do that, that's fine. But if you do it by mistake, let's say you do this by mistake, or you were updating your staff information and you were only able to save 1 or 2 of them, so the application will stay on your dashboard. Okay, so if you do this by mistake and you open an application that you didn't mean to open, and this could be done with entity, staff, or financial. Okay, and I have videos on all of them, but since we're on this one, I would just want to make sure you understand that when you open up a staff management application, you can't do any other applications. Okay, so if you decide that, hey, it's more important for me to submit my renewal right now than it is for me to add these 3 other staff, they can be added inside of your renewal. So you can go to your dashboard, hit cancel, it'll say staff management, hit cancel, the yellow button, and your renewal application will become active again for you. And you can put those staff members inside of your renewal. Really, the only time that you would want to use this in a time-sensitive way would be for the director. If for some reason you lose a director or you need to quickly add a director. Okay, everything else you should be able to prioritize. And that is it for the staff management. Again, if you have any questions, I do offer training, usually 2 to 3 times a week, if not more. I also have training manuals on our EdLink training page, which let me give you that real quick. I will select that and show it to you and reshare. There you go. So if you go up here to your main site, Louisiana Believes, just find the search bar and you're going to type in EdLink training and hit enter. You'll see all these links come up. Okay, just choose that very first link and it takes you to this page. And on this page, I have videos like what you're watching now. I also have PDFs for most of them. These are general training right here. And then you have your license type or your provider certification specific videos or PDFs. All right, and now up here, you have hot topics where I always have a current training schedule. It's a PDF and it has live links that you need to register 30 minutes before each session. If there are no registrants, the session will not go, and that's perfectly fine. But it is not an open hour to where you can pop in at any time. They actually start on time. And once we wrap up with the individuals that are in attendance, we close it down. Okay. Right here, you have a support ticket link. This is for system issues with EdLink only. Okay. So this would be that, for instance, you have not opened your renewal button and it's not active. Okay. When things like that occur, or if you can't access your account for some reason. Now remember, if you forget your password, always refer back to this page before you submit a ticket, because the answer to your questions might be here. Resetting your password. You can also reset your email, and this guide right here will show you how to do that. Okay, how to request your site roles. There's a video. Now these videos are really useful because you can open it on your phone or a tablet and you can pause it, because everything that I do, I show you in order of operations. Okay. And that is it. And if you have any questions, just please reach out to us and let us know. Thanks for watching.